All right, let's save you guys some money. Electrical tip for the day is going to be about GFCIs. Most of you have heard that term. It stands for ground fault circuit interruption. This is going to protect you from water becoming energized in or around your home, or at a public pool, or anywhere. This is extremely important because a breaker isn't always going to trip when water energizes it. Most likely it will, but there are events when it will not. In this case, the GFCI is going to be what trips, and it's going to be exceptionally important for your safety. This will measure the balance of how much is going out of the circuit and how much is coming back on the neutral. If it's imbalanced, it will trip because current is finding an alternate path home, and it should not. So what we need to do first is check, make sure all your breakers are on. You've probably already done that. Second, walk around and make sure that all of your GFCIs are reset. You may have found out that it's a receptacle on the outside of the house that's not working, but it doesn't have a reset button. There's a reason for that. These are dirt cheap. They cost about $3. These cost about $30. And so if we can use this to protect the outside circuits, we're going to, because it saves us money as contractors. This GFCI device we often put inside of garages or in one of the two bathrooms or one of the kitchen receptacles, and it's the first device that we hit before we daisy chain all the other devices after it. If this trips, the other devices all stop working as well. So if outside receptacles aren't working, go look in your garage for all the GFCIs, reset those. Most likely your receptacles on the outside will start working again. If your interior, your kitchen, usually you'll have two of these because you'll have two appliance circuits, small appliance things, just kitchen circuits to plug in random things, and make sure those are reset. And the other one that's very common is you might be in one of the bathrooms and it doesn't have the reset button. The reset button is probably in the opposite bathroom. So like I said, we're always putting as few of these as possible in so that we can save money and slave them off of these. So after you've checked and made sure they're all reset, maybe it's not resetting, the button's not working. There's a few things that this could be causing, or that could be causing this issue. Let's use proper English. One of those things is it's simply broken. Now this one's less common unless it's very old, but it happens. Now there's a lot of internal springs and components and various things to make this work. After time, they will stop working, especially if they're not actuated very often. Just like anything, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so switching this out could fix the problem. That's not the first thing I would do though. The first thing I would do is take a walk and make sure nothing's plugged into the other receptacles that might still actively be wet. You might have an extension cord plugged in outside and it's sitting in some water. Maybe someone came and pressure washed your house and they pressure washed around the receptacles, all the water got inside and it's still wet, even though it looks dry on the outside. And so these are things that you need to be, questions you need to be asking and concerns you need to go over. Now, once you figured out that everything's dry, everything's, should be proper, that's when you might consider this is not functioning. But most of the time, 9 times out of 10, it's just a water-related issue. You need to let it dry out. You need to make sure that everything's in good shape from there. Now, keep in mind, when you go to change out a GFCI, you've got a line side and a load side. Now each GFCI brand might be a little bit different. Load might be on top, line might be on top, vice versa. It's different from a standard receptacle where these ones don't matter because they have something called a yoke, which is this little metal piece which connects these two screws together on each side. So it doesn't matter which hots you connect to and which neutrals you connect to. It's one and the same terminal. It's not the case for a GFCI. If you mix up your line and load, it's not going to work, because this is a device that has to have power for it to be able to reset. And so if you put power on the load side, well, one, power doesn't travel from load to line, and so the rest of your circuit will not work. But this will work until it's reset or until it's tripped. So when that happens, you're like, okay, yeah, it's got power on these receptacles, but then as soon as it's tripped or tested, now it won't reset because power isn't actually energizing the receptacle. So it's very important to keep in mind when you pull the receptacle off, put it back the same way that you pulled it off. Make sure you mark which one's line and which one's load so that you can land them on the correct terminals for this GFCI. One last thing, if you put this outside, this one specifically has a WR on it for weather resistant. To pass code, that's what it needs to be. This one doesn't have to be in your kitchen, for example, though, because it's not the receptacle outside, so you can just use a regular one. It'll save you 10 bucks when you go buy them. Other than that, hope this saves you 300 bucks from your phone call to the electricians, and we'll chat later. If you're looking for any specific content, like, subscribe, and send me a DM. I'll see if I can't make a video to help you out. And I've also got an electrical troubleshooting diagnostic guide with a link down below that you can go check it out.